we used to deploy 2 or 3 aircraft over to Pearce and operate with the SAS. We'd do hey-ho and high-low, and we did drops from upwards of 30,000 feet with those guys. Other times rendezvous with submarines out off the West Australian coast, and they'd be in or in Bass Strait too, for that matter, where in Bass Strait we would drop a rubber ducky, and they'd have all the gear in it that'd be on a sort of like a plywood mount, and we'd drop that at, wasn't that high, well no, because I used to jump out with it, and I think the minimum height must have been about 1,000 feet, and that would have all their weaponry in it, and it would have, I can't recall, maybe 2 or 3 chutes in it, and the Xylem sticks would mostly at night would do this sort of stuff, and we would drop that, and then normally 6 SAS guys would jump out with it. They would then get the rubber ducky, cut the plywood platform away, and then they used to go and assault the oil rigs, so that was sort of like anti-terrorist training. So that was some pretty interesting flying. Other stuff we used to do, spec ops at night in the Herc, was landing into strips completely blacked out, so we would have like nothing on, and the SAS guys, we used, in those days from Vietnam, used to have little hexamine stoves, and they would light the strip up down one side, they'd dig a little 6-inch hole and put 4 hexamine tablets in it, light it, and they'd have one at either end, so they show us the width, and we'd land on that, and without no lights, totally blacked out. It was pretty interesting. I remember one time we had special forces that were at 3 row in Holsworthy Commandos, I recall, and the major, they loved this lights out insertion stuff. They'd have whatever they were landing, might be motorbikes, or it might be on foot, or it might be with Land Rovers, and we'd have all this stuff set up, and we used to infill exfil. We'd be from touchdown to airborne, back out. I think the quickest we did was about 4 minutes. It was pretty quick stuff. It was, you know, we used to train a lot with them, but I remember the major of the company wanted to have a look at this lights out stuff, and so I said, "Oh, come on up, sir, and stand behind me, and hang on here and hang on there, and you'll get, you know." And so what would happen was the navigator, the radar on the Herc was really quite good, and the nav could pick even though it was just a dirt strip, he'd be able to pick it out on the radar. He used to be able to pick out fence lines. It was a really good radar. So the nav would talk us in from 1,000 feet out. He'd just give us headings and rates, that we just fly a 3-degree glide path on what the nav said. And at 500 feet, he'd say, "Look ahead, you should see the lights." And at about 500 feet, you could normally just see these little lights, and you just aim the aircraft at the first one. And when you thought you were going to hit it, you'd flare and close the thrust, and on you'd go. Well, the poor old major, he couldn't see all of that, and he just hit the ground, hit the floor. So he came to a screaming halt, and he picked himself up. He said, "You blokes are bloody crazy," and just got off.